Guys, we got to talk about Square Enix, man, because I saw this post over on X and it is mind blowing. It is mind blowing. And it's mind blowing mainly because it's something that we've all known. You've known about it. I've known about it. Your mom's known about it. We've all known about it. And they gaslit us into essentially thinking that none of this is true. It's not real, right? Remember, like, it's the cycle of gaslighting where it starts off as this is not happening. And then it goes to, well, it might be happening, but here's why you're a chud for thinking that way. And then it goes to, okay, but it is happening, but here's why it's okay. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me every single day, 9 p.m. over on the main channel, where you can catch me live every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see every single one of you there. Now back to the main video, and it's a cycle, right? It's a cycle. So I saw this post over on X, and it's going fairly out there right now. 2 million views over on X, and I was like, what the hell is Final Fantasy VII related content getting 2 million views for? All the post says is no fun allowed. And I was like, wait, what? There's got to be something to this. So I ended up clicking on this and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? And I ended up looking at the first image. Let's look at it together, okay? This is obviously Cloud. And I saw something called staff comment that is highlighted. And it says character artwork, Roberto Ferrari. It says the swimsuits worn by Cloud and the other characters were drawn in ways that didn't overly emphasize their figures. This was done in accordance with ethical guidelines and internal feedback. And I was like, oh, okay. So we got some gold here. Hold on. Wait a second. So the thing that they told us wasn't happening, the ethics department and all this nonsense that we talked about for years, for literal years. And now Mr. Roberto Ferrari decided to say, you know what? Kind of did happen, right? So this is coming from the illustrations book for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's called Material Ultimania. I think I actually have this book, or I have the first one. I might have the first one. I think I have the remake, Ultimania. I'm actually going to look at that myself and check that one out. But this is the Rebirth Ultimania, and this is Cloud. This is not even like Tifa or Aerith or anything like that. This is Cloud, and even Cloud was meant to be drawn and showcased in ways that didn't emphasize his figure, right? It says, for this version of Cloud, we doubled the polygon count for things like his hair, giving him a much more detailed look. That said, pushing the quality that high put us right up against our data limits, and we had to work with almost no room to spare. Okay, so that first comment in and of itself, pretty egregious, but again, that's just one comment. But then there's more, because of course there is. There's always more, unfortunately. This is Aerith's, infamous pink mermaid outfit, right? So if you guys remember in Rebirth, this is her bathing suit, right? Because her and Tifa both got bathing suits inside of the game, and everybody knows that Tifa has been the target of the ethics department. This is something that was talked about a year or so ago, give or take, might be even a little bit longer than that. But this is her famous outfit. Check out the comment, the staff comment from the same person, by the way, Roberto Ferrari. He says this swimsuit design was drawn in response to a request to conceal her feminine curves as much as possible. Bro. Okay. So this design was meant to conceal her feminine curves as much as possible. Why are we trying to conceal feminine curves as much as possible? Why is feminine curves a bad thing? This is why when people bring up the conversation about they're purposefully making female characters ugly, or they're purposely making them a little bit more masculine, or they're purposely doing certain things to kind of downplay their outfits that otherwise would not be that way, especially when it comes to like Japanese-made video games, starts to become a thing where you're like, oh, so hold on. So the thing that you say it's not happening, the thing that you say we're just making up in our minds because we're fucking chuds, right? We're just a bunch of chuds. Apparently it is happening. Apparently it is happening, right? Apparently the ethics department is a thing, right? Let's keep going because that's just one. Let's go to the next one. If you look here, we got another one from Roberto Ferrari. I tried a lot of different designs for Tifa's swimsuit. This is for Tifa. But getting any of them approved was a real challenge. Since players can view the characters from all sorts of angles in the game, we had to keep certain things in check and not overemphasize her feminine figure. In the end, we settled on this design. Again, guys, so why is it bad to overemphasize on a feminine figure? Why is it bad to showcase the female form? Why is it bad? I really, honestly, I thought at first that this was fake. I really thought that all of this was just not real. And you know what? Even if it wasn't real, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I can see this being a thing. Because we've talked about this so many times. We've seen this happen so many times. We've seen actual changes happen to Tifa in real time. And for some reason, they have an issue when it comes to the female form. Now, obviously, he's not going to name any names. He's not going to say, where that request came from. All it's going to say is that essentially there were changes that had to be made for XYZ reason, right? If you go to this post, I was like, oh, so that's it? Is that all that is? I was like, maybe this is not real. But there's another post right here. I say this because of all of Mr. Ferrari's comments elsewhere in the art books usually talk about details in the art itself. But in this case of the swimsuits, he's just flatly saying it was really difficult to get them approved, so I had to tone them down as much as possible. That's crazy, bro. If showing feminine curves is so bad, imagine showing a guy committing suicide, or a woman getting impaled by a big sword, or an entire town population getting literally crushed, or people falling to their death. No wonder some of those story changes happen. It makes you wonder, why did these story changes even happen? Was it because, I guess, the modern day couldn't have it the way that it was? It's a little bit odd, right? So I don't really know what to really make of this, guys. At this point, looking at this, it really, again, if this is all as real as it claims, see Madam Savvy in here. She says, why would all of them conveniently have that? Why did each of them say, hey, do we have to draw this section because we got told to, otherwise we would have? Why did they all say that? Why was it approved for translation? Why was it left in? Why was it sent to print? Is that not the most fascinating thing? Is anyone else not amazed by this? It reads like a cry for help. Why share this? It might be fake. Who really knows? Why was it approved and printed is easy? Because the Western side is literally proud of this. That's true too. The Western side is so proud of it that they want the man to admit that he had to tone down the female characters. Actually, not even just the female characters, the male characters too. Again, even Cloud got toned down. What the Cloud is like the skinniest guy out there. Like, what do you, he doesn't even have a figure to accept. Anyway, it's just crazy, bro. So Madam Savvy questions it as well. And overall, it's just extremely, extremely frustrating. Because think about it. Think about how many... It kind of reminds us of a comment that was made by a developer. If you guys remember, back during the... I'm trying to remember. It's like the SBI days. Back during the SBI days, there was a developer. I think his name was Dell or something like that. And he ended up posting about how he would draw beautiful black female characters. Beautiful black female characters. And every time he would send it back for approval... By the time they got to the final design, it would go from a beautiful black female character to basically a dollar store auntie. That's what he said. And it just, again, looking at this, same exact situation. And what ended up happening was the dude got called out by his own, right? Somebody must have pulled him to the side, gave him a talking to, and then he eventually just deleted everything and said that he didn't want to give the Gamergate chuds or something ammo or whatever. And that's it. He completely tried to pretend like it never happened. But again, that's what happens when the mask slips. When the mask slips and you have a moment of honesty out of frustration, eventually he deleted it. But that's what happens when the mask slips. So he essentially admitted what we all knew, was that characters, female characters especially, are being redesigned over and over and over again until they fit some weird metric of what a woman is supposed to look like in a video game. It's just honestly really fucking strange. So I think it's only a matter of time where, you know, in future iterations, as time goes on, you're going to see more and more of this to the point where, yeah, she's basically going to be wearing an entire fucking hijab or something. Like, she's going to be so covered up to the point where you can only see her eyes. I think there was a post somewhere here essentially mocking that and making fun of it. They were like Tifa for the modern audience. Violent video games are turning children into murderers. Those video games are full of satanic imagery. Video games are misogynistic. Gamer culture is toxic. Video games are creating far-right extremists. Yeah, that's pretty interesting for sure. Square died the minute they stopped being Squaresoft. I agree. Look at these legendary games, bro. Oh my god, bro. Look at this. Wow, dude. These are great, man. Brave Fencer, Musashi. Oh my god. Chrono Cross, Tactics, Xenogears, Parasite Eve 1 and 2, Vagrant Story, Legend of Mana, Final Fantasy 9, 8, and 7. Bushido Blade. Oh man, dude. So crazy. God. R.I.P. Squaresoft, man. What a joke things have become. He also mentioned similar pressures for remake. Oh, he put it in remake too? This gotta be real then. Guys, I'm gonna read my remake book and I'm gonna check myself because I do have it. I have the Ultimanium for remake. And if that shit is in there, then you can guarantee it's in the Rebirth one as well. It says here, look at what it says here. This is for remake. This was probably the Tifa dress I struggled with the most. My designs kept getting sent back. I think I must have gone through a dozen revisions or more. It feels like a miracle that the dress actually ended up being used in the game. Bro, why, bro? Why is it being sent back? What is wrong with this? What is wrong with the female form that you have to hide it so much? It's because of this stupid ethics department that is at Square Enix that they tried to gaslight us about and tell us we're not doing these things. And meanwhile, the actual artists are literally telling you that that's what they were going through. That that's what they were struggling with. This is crazy, bro. What is wrong with the female form? Women have curves, my guy. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable it makes you. Women have curves. I'm not saying for her to be topless, although I don't think anybody would complain if Tifa was topless, let's be honest. However, nobody's saying that. But what is wrong with this? Why would this even get to the point where it has to be sent back? It just doesn't make any sense. You want to know why? It's because the industry does unfortunately have a massive amounts of people, and I'm going to use the word people, that are in this industry that unfortunately hate standardized beauty. And those people are overseeing the chuds that are actually making the games. Right? The actual nerds that are in these studios that are making the games and actually working while everybody else is drinking Starbucks and telling everybody else what to do with their time in their day. These people hate standardized beauty. They consider it to be insulting. They consider it to be against their ideology. They consider it to be whatever. They hate standardized beauty, which is why they constantly attack women that look, supposedly normal. And they themselves are usually a little bit on the extreme side, right? It's very insecure, and that insecurity gets passed off to their work. So if these people are in charge of ethics or the ethics department, then naturally that's going to trickle down. Naturally, it's going to get to the people who are making the designs. And if the guy's telling you he had to do this 12 fucking times to make a goddamn dress, that's insane. No matter how much your ethics department will try to hide female curves or, hide the feminine form or pretend like it doesn't exist or whatever the case would be, no matter how much they try to do it, at the end of the day, women are still women. No matter how much you try to change that, no matter how much you try to make the public perceive that to not be the case, women are still women, men are still men, and they're going to look exactly how they've been looking for thousands of years. It's called genetics. It's called testosterone and estrogen. And naturally, that stuff is just going to come through The moment they hit puberty, the men are going to become bigger and stronger and hairy, and the women are going to start developing certain curves and shit. Like, there's nothing you could do to stop that. Well, I mean, there is, but then that's a whole nother conversation, and, you know, we're not going to get into that. So, some men just want to watch the world burn. You see, that's the problem, man. Cultural breakdown is that this mindset puts the blame on the guy who's designing the outfit. But the thing is, I don't blame the artist. I don't blame the artist. Not in this situation. The guy's literally saying that he sent original design 12 times. The guy tried to design a I guess you could say, a little more flattering outfit. He tried to design it 12 times and it got sent back. More than 12 times. So it's not him. He's not the problem. The problem is whoever is the one that's saying it's allowed or it's not allowed. Whoever is supposedly giving that approval, they're the ones that's the problem. You know? God damn. Just wait for the mods for Revelation. Holy fuck. That's insane. But see, even this is like not bad though. This would not even be bad. Like, is it revealing? Yeah, sure. Of course it is. But like, is it bad? No. Everything looks pretty much standardized aside from the top. Everything looks standardized. She looks like regular Tifa outside of the top. Same skirt, same everything. Even this would not be bad. But, you know, for modern day Square Enix, apparently that's not allowed. It's fucking insane, bro. How Twitter and Reddit would be if this was done today. Oh, this is so true. I saw this. I saw this post. Let me show you guys this post. Hold on, check this out. This is how Twitter and Reddit would be if this was done today. LOL. You're such a whiny snowflake. Throwing a hissy fit because they removed the blood. It's just a game. Get a life. Grow up. Touch grass. Who cares there's no blood? The game would be less fun because there's no blood. The game plays the same. So many problems in the world. And you're here complaining that a game no longer has blood? By the way, all these comments, literally the first 3 sentences that I fucking read are the same goddamn responses that I got in the comment section of my 007 videos and streams. Because you guys remember, if you watch my streams of that game, I was bitching about how it has no fucking blood. Even like bare minimum blood. And I would get the same exact comments. That's why this shit is so spot on. It's so spot on, dude. Look at those nerds, man, children, chuds, and incels angry because their game no longer has blood. LOL. Help me, mama. Wokeness took the blood from my game. LOL. Bro. Wow, this is so spot on, dude. Again, I have a classic question, and they never want to answer it. They never want to answer it. And they'll gaslight you and tell you it's for ratings. Oh, that's my favorite one. That's my favorite one. Anytime they change something, you'll always have some random shill who'll be like, oh, they had to do that for the ratings. No, the fuck they didn't. No, the fuck they didn't. Okay? You'll have people that'll tell you, oh, it's because of the ratings. That's why they took it out. That's why they changed it. The age-old question that you never get an answer for is, if it's not a big deal, why did you change it in the first place? The game has existed this way for ages. It's been around this way for ages. Now, suddenly, you're changing it. So this was clearly important. So can you explain, why did you change it? If you're trying to tell me in the same breath that something that's been around for decades, you decided to change, but that you're telling me that that thing also does not matter, why'd you change it? Why? And then they never want to answer that. Because they can't. How do you answer that? Without lying about it and say, oh, it's for the ratings. How do you answer that? Oh, we changed it because modern sensibilities. What are those sensibilities? What are they? Can you explain what those are? Or do you need somebody to tell you what they are first? Oh, it's violent and we're trying to tone down the... Why? It's Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's always been for adults. This is not a game that's targeted at children, so why are you trying to tone down the violence if there's adults playing the game? Are you trying to say that there are adults that can't handle violence? So you mean to tell me because 2%, 1% of adults can't handle violence, that the other 99% can't see their violence in their video games? You mean to tell me that you can't add a toggleable feature that turns on or off blood? It's that difficult, apparently? It takes that much time? So you rather just fuck over the majority for the minority? Come on, bro. Just say it's based on your ideology. It's really that easy. It's so easy if you're just honest about it. But they don't want to be honest about it. They'll just gaslight you, lie to you, tell you all these nonsensical things, and none of this makes sense whatsoever. And then again, whenever somebody doesn't have an argument, they immediately go, "Well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? You know, who cares if you don't have a choice? What's the big deal? Who cares?" We already know. But yeah, this is fucking spot on. This is it. Yes, this is the ethics department right here from Square Enix. This is like a representative of a Square Enix ethics department. They go to a beach and they're like, "Yup, this is clearly Gooter bait." Oh my god, brother, this is so accurate. This is so accurate. This is so accurate. Going to the beach and like, "Yup, this is problematic." Why? It's the beach, bro. Oh my god, man. Anyway, so that's basically it, guys. I saw this and I'm like, honestly, this is just, I never want to hear anybody try to gaslight about how supposedly this is not happening. And supposedly that's, especially with Square Enix, like none of this is happening. No, this is very clearly happening. Because if this is happening at Square Enix with an ethics department that is Western focused, what do you think is happening in Western studios that have Western employees with Western ideologies and Western mindsets? What do you think is happening there? If it's happening in a Japanese studio that is listening to a Western ethics department, what do you think is happening? It's pretty fucking obvious. So can we get past the point of people gaslighting and saying it's not happening when it clearly is? And then let's get to the conversation. We can now move to the next step. Now we're at the next step of the gaslighting circle. Now we're at the part where we admit it's happening. So now it's their job to tell us why it's not a big deal. And it's our job to tell them why it is. Now we're at that part now. So let's see how that goes. But again, I'm really surprised they let this go through. Roberto Ferrari. Really surprised they let this go through. So I don't know, man. It's crazy shit. But that's it, boys. That's the Square Enix story. I saw that and my mind was blown. I had to share that with you. I had to. I was like, more people got to know about this. It's crazy.